Welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, presented by Baja Blast, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball and Dodgers Nation. Get a Baja for a blast this MLB season and enjoy a refreshing splash of tropical lime flavor. The Dodgers are expected to call up this prospect that has been a star at the minor league level for years. He's finally getting his opportunity. We'll tell you who that is and what the roster move could be. Also, the Dodgers lose the second game against the Rockies in Colorado. We'll break down McKain's start. There was a bad base running blunder. We'll talk about Will Klein and the state of the bullpen. Also, we're talking about some injury updates. When will we see some of the injured Dodgers back? Got some more on that. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. This Dodgers team is going to 3.
Nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball.
Los Angeles wins it 3-1.
The Dodgers are ruining baseball. Let's get 4 more wins and really ruin baseball.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani! Whoa! Bounces one up the middle, bits to the back, over to first to beat the champ. You gotta knock him out. The Dodgers stand tall and win back-to-back titles.
Big blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment if you want to support every single episode. This show is also brought to you by GearUp.LA, the official merchandise store of Dodgers Nation. Go check that out to get some merch. But we got a lot to get into. I know you guys love these weekend, late night. Get a little loose on these. Dodgers Dugout Live episodes because we got stuff to get into. Because we got a roster move that's pretty significant. We'll talk about it here. Also, we'll hear from McKain, Kyle Tucker, Dave Robertson, Dalton Rushing after tonight's loss. This is a live show, so drop those comments. I want to get those takes in. We'll still do a nice little 7th inning stretch. But there's so much to get into in the world of Dodger baseball, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so we'll get to the results of tonight's loss in just a second, but the biggest story in Dodger baseball is that finally, after all of these years waiting, that hashtag free Ryan Ward, well, he's going to get his opportunity to join a big league roster. Fabian Ardaya, who I also do a show with called the Dodgers Collective. My man Fabian, he tweeted, the Dodgers are calling up outfielder Ryan Ward. Sources tell The Athletic. The reigning PCL MVP was added to the 40-man roster over the winter. Throughout 81 plate appearances with OKC, he's hitting .324 with a 1,020 OPS and 4 home runs. So far this season, Ryan Ward has been putting up Ryan Ward-like PCL numbers, and we know what that looks like. That is dominant hitting. That is a guy that for most major league teams, they're going to go tap into their minors. He would be one of the first guys they call up. He is currently the Dodgers' 19th highest ranked prospect. The big question about Ryan Ward has always been 1, defensive fit, and 2, would his bat translate at the next level? Because with Ward, we know he's put up some really, really gaudy numbers down for OKC. And I think for him, he has been versatile. I had him on the show this offseason. We talked about how he does view himself as an outfielder, can also play first base, not the best arm, not the most athletic. If he does ultimately stick in the show, it's going to be because of what he can do with his bat. And my hope for Ryan Ward is that at some point he gets a runway, he gets some opportunity. Unfortunately, there's just really no place for him on the Los Angeles Dodgers because this is the hardest roster in the league to crack, because there's a franchise that fills in their needs and fills in their holes with big name free agents. They spend money. And then on top of that, even when they do make trades, one of the reasons why they don't have to part ways with top prospects, or as many as they typically would have, is because of their ability to absorb money. They took on money in the Mookie Betts trade by taking on David Price's salary. And Tyler Glass now, they take that deal on and they traded Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca. There's just so many examples of the Dodgers having the ability to acquire their talent elsewhere. So for Ryan Ward, if you look at the prospects for him as far as playing for this team, well, he is someone that, yes, I think if things turned out right, we could see him hit at an above average level in the bigs. But defensively, it's going to be tough for him to find a fit on this team, because in right field, you just signed Kyle Tucker, $240 million contract, highest paid position player in the league per AAV, average annual value. Center field, you have Andy Pages, the best player in the world. Of course, I'm only kidding, but really the player that has had the hottest start this season. And in left field, you have Teoscar Hernandez, another free agent that you gave over $60 million to. So there's no place for him to start in the outfield. As far as a backup role, he doesn't really bring those tools that you look at for a guy that can come off the bench. Alex Call today did make a costly base running blunder, but he is a above average runner, and he profiles more as a backup fourth outfielder type. And then Kike is going to be back. Tommy Edman's going to be back. You have Hesson Kim who can play some outfield. So the first base position too, you have a Hall of Famer there in Freddie Freeman, who's chasing 3,000 hits. And just is a great player, like wants to have 200 hits a year and hit 300. And he's really not showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon. And then now you've got Dalton Rushing. Dalton Rushing is behind him. And if there's going to be anyone else playing first base for this team, it's going to be Dalton and not Ryan Ward. So, unfortunately, it's not a defensive fit. Now, a couple other things I'm just wondering, kind of thinking out loud. Let's kind of walk through this a little bit about Ryan Ward is, look, we know he's deserving. There's no doubt about it. But could this be a situation where, yes, it is likely going to be because Freddie Freeman is going to be going on paternity leave. Yes, Teoscar Hernandez fouled a ball off his foot. He's fine. And you got position players that really don't need to be sent down. Alex Freeland, I don't think he would send down at this point. But if Freddie's going to go on paternity leave and it's going to be Ryan Ward, well, I hope that they don't just force Dalton Rushing at first, even though you want his bat in the lineup, because if you get Ryan Ward some opportunities and he does handle those at-bats well, could this be a precursor to a Ryan Ward trade? Now, I know that that's a bummer to say about a player who is going to be making his big league debut. Wait a minute, D-Mac. He hasn't even made his big league debut. You're already talking about trading the guy. Look, my job here is to try to kind of unpack this every which way. So, hey, we're the Hardcore Dodgers fan show anyway. So, I mean, could that be the reason? Could that be a part of just not the reason necessarily, but an added benefit to make this make more sense? So, I could, and that's not a detriment, a disparaging remark towards Ryan Ward. I think that's more of a plus, saying that if you get his trade value up, look, I mean, Ryan told me on this show, hey, I want to debut for the team that drafted me, right? I want to debut for the team that drafted me. And he has a lot of pride in being a Dodger, but these guys want to play. And he's 28 years old. In prospect years, you might as well be 48 years old. He needs to get to the bigs to show what he can do, to try to develop and try to show organizations around the league that he can do what he believes he can do, and that is stick on a 26-man big league roster. And because there's no legitimate path for him to do that in this organization, well, you would think they would do right by him and set him free. Look what that did for Michael Busch, where they traded Michael Busch to the Cubs because he was blocked at second base, at first base, really didn't have any type of role for this team, and then he ends up flourishing in spots for the Chicago Cubs. At least gets the opportunity, right? So for every Michael Busch, there's also a James Outman who, I mean, you look at James Outman, he comes up in that first year in 2023, has 23 home runs, finishes third in the Rookie of the Year voting. And then last year they traded him at the deadline for Brock Stewart for some bullpen help. And now in 16 games with the Minnesota Twins, he has 0 hits and 18 at-bats. He has 10 strikeouts and 2 walks, right? So, I mean, it's just tough. Like, the big leagues is the toughest league to crack. I mean, I've heard a scout tell me once that going from AAA to the show, it's the biggest gap that it's ever been. And it's the toughest leap that we've ever seen. They told me that it'd be similar to riding go-karts at your local little Wonkers or wherever that thing's called, where you got the mini golf there and you got the arcades and you're running golf carts there and you're doing go-karts there. It's like running a go-kart to driving the Indy 500, essentially. Like, it is very, very significant of a gap. Some guys can handle it, some guys cannot. Some guys will take longer than others. You look at Dalton Rushing, already starting to see that success. Andy Pages had his ups and downs before he found it, but those guys had a lot of deep down talent. And I think on top of that too with the Dodgers, you've got other outfield prospects that could be in line for an opportunity after Teoscar Hernandez is gone after next season. And you got guys that have higher upside and that are younger than guys like Ryan Ward, because you've got Zaire Hope, you've got Josue DePaula. They're outfields. You got James Tibbs III. You got Mike Sirota. So I'm just throwing it out there. This could be a precursor to a trade. We'll see how it ultimately plays out, but expect it to most likely be for Freddie Freeman, whose wife is close to having they're having a surrogate, and they're having another child. So Freddie going on paternity leave. So hey, I think in this case, I don't see any reason why you don't just take advantage of this. Another example too of the Dodgers making moves on the margins potentially. So a little more on Ryan Ward. The pipeline has him as the 19th best prospect in the Dodgers farm system. Baseball America doesn't have Ward in their list of top 30 prospects. Fangraphs projects him as having an 89 weighted runs created plus. So the Fangraphs actually projects for him to have a below average bat. The scouting scale for future value for Fangraphs is on a 20 to 80 scale. 20 is the bottom, 80 is the highest. They have him as a 40. So prospect gurus aren't too high on Ryan Ward. The models aren't too high on Ryan Ward. But still, I mean, how can you truly evaluate someone that hasn't gotten that chance? You just never know. You just never know if a guy's going to be able to handle it up here between the ears mentally, and then if he can swing it and the show against big league pitching. But expect Ryan Ward to be up. What are your thoughts on Ryan Ward getting called up? And we'll see. Dave Roberts did talk about it, and he said that he kind of like tiptoed around it. He said, let's go over here. He said, so I think that right now we've got to stay in the moment and have a conversation on Sunday. He said, there's some talk right now. I'm going to kind of stay hushed on this. Obviously, there's some thoughts and things that are happening, but from different people, we want to be quiet. And then Dave Roberts said that it's not injury related. Thank you for asking. So there was some speculation about it possibly being Teoscar Hernandez, who fouled a ball off his left foot, like I said at the top of the show. And, yeah, I mean, the most likely, of course, and I've said it before, is Freddie Freeman going on the paternity list. Freddie and his wife, Chelsea, they're expecting their 4th child via a surrogate. So, yeah, that is kind of where we're at on that. But, Ryan Ward, hey, let's get it, man. Like I said, he was out of the 40-man roster in the offseason, and they did that to avoid teams from selecting him in the Rule 5 draft. And that's the Dodgers protecting an asset. So it definitely showed that. So I think ultimately they'll trade Ryan Ward. Just my thoughts on that. And I think that if we're being completely honest, that's the best thing for Ryan Ward because he's getting close to 30, man. And when you're close to 30 and 20, that's not good for your prospect status for sure. Okay, 1 second, guys. Let's see what is going on with my old camera here. Just stick with me. But tonight's game, we're going to get into that. Talking to tonight's game, we're here. Let's hear from Dave Roberts. So we'll hear from Dave Roberts about tonight's loss. We'll fix this camera situation. There we go. Back a little bit. We'll get to the other camera here in a second. But the Dodgers, they lose tonight in Colorado. You can't win them all, as they say. The Dodgers had a 4-game winning streak, a 10-game winning streak over the National League to start this season, but they lose 4-3 in Denver at Coors Field. It's the Dodgers' first loss, like I said, in 11 matchups against NL teams. They really got off to a good start. Kyle Tucker, he put the Dodgers on top early, a 2-run shot, just a couple batters in the game. It was his 3rd straight game with an extra base hit. So King Tuck is heating up like I promised you he would, like I told you to relax about. And, Kyle Tucker is going to be fine. Sorry, a little close here, guys. Try and get this thing reset. Oh, there we go. There we go. King Tuck is just fine. And he did have an at-bat later that was significant. But top of the first inning, Kyle Tucker took a 4-seam fastball up in the zone, and I think it's a big at-bat for him because he's been missing fastballs, and quite frankly, he's missed pitches that he's been able to hit. And for Tucker, that was a nice bomb to get things going. And after scoring in each of the first 5 innings on Friday, where the Dodgers kept tacking on runs, the Dodgers, they scored 3 runs in the first 2 innings, but that was it. Nothing. You had starter Ryan Feltner out there. He was really having a lot of success against his Dodgers lineup. Freddie Freeman did hit a triple with 1 out in the 6th inning, but he was stranded. You had a really nice play there by Kyle Karros. And then really the big moment of the game for the Dodgers offensively was when Brennan Bernardino struck out Max Muncy. Muncy was chasing a breaking ball down the way. And then Emmett Sheehan, he had some issues early on this one. He gave up runs in the 1st and 2nd innings. He got 1 run there. He did settle down. He really did a nice job. And after that, in the next 3 innings, he finished the night tossing 77 pitches, going 5 innings, having 4 strikeouts. Didn't quite build upon his last start. It's Coors Field, so you always have to take it with a grain of salt the size of Bruce Bochy's head. But he battled, he grinded. I think that kind of the mark of a pitcher that's maturing is he's not getting run out of the building when he doesn't have his best stuff, or he's not getting his best results. So you would like to have 6. That's basically what the Dodgers starters have been providing every single outing, but you'll take the 5, and you would expect more from the Dodgers offense. But the Rockies, they add another run when Will Klein came in there in the 6th inning, and that was the earliest that a Dodgers reliever had entered a game for this entire week. Klein gives up an infield single on a ball that was hit off his foot, and then he gave up 2 doubles, one to Troy Johnston that scored 2 runs, and that gave the Rockies the lead of the night and their first lead of the series. The Dodgers also had an opportunity in the 8th inning. You got 2 batters on the 8th, and you load the bases with 2 outs. They weren't able to capitalize, and that really is the issue there, is really the Dodgers' offense. Wasn't the team that we've seen scoring almost 6 runs per game. You scored 3 runs in Colorado. That's an off night for the Dodgers bats. Another opportunity for Max Muncy. when Ohtani, by the way, who did extend his on-base streak to 50 games, he reached earlier than he reached on the first base where he had the catcher's interference. Ohtani knew it right away. Then Tucker singled. Then a couple batters later, Teo walked to load the base with 2 outs, and Muncy grounded out. And then the top of the 9th inning, they had an opportunity with 2 outs. Will Smith reached on an infield single. Ohtani then banged a single to right, and then with a tying run at second, Kyle Tucker first pitch swing on a changeup. Not a great at bat. He ends the game. So the Dodgers, they go down. Really, the key stat of the night that you need to know about is the Dodgers bats going 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They left 8 men on base. Just not enough damage. It was a good night for Kyle Tucker. It was 3 for 5 with a home run. So I think that's the biggest positive. So let's hear from King Tuck on his night at Coors Field.
Well, Kyle, the other day when we were talking about just kind of where you were at when it came to offensively, you felt like, you were kind of fouling off a few pitches that you felt like you could have been hitting for more power. How have you found just a 3-hit game, the 2-run homer to start this evening? How have you found just kind of where your swing is at right now?
It's not bad. I mean, some at bats are better than others. I just need to try and carry it over to each at bat in each game. Rather than just kind of here and there, but hopefully I can just continue doing that tomorrow as well.
You guys obviously had some opportunities, especially late in this game. What did you find just when it came to, I guess, kind of leaving runners on or even just kind of falling short, especially later in this one?
I mean, it happens at times. We're facing big league pitchers, and they got some guys in their bullpen that can, pitch really well, but, at the same time, we got to do our part. We had some opportunities with guys on base, especially late. We just got to find ways to get hits or just get those guys in. So it happens at times, but we just got to do a better job at it.
What's the home run like to be able to attack a first pitch like that? Like when you're talking about ending at bats sooner and not getting behind in the count, like is that an example of kind of what you're talking about to be able to?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of fouled off pitches like that, or like swung through some. I mean, it wasn't a bad pitch. It was, heater at the top of the zone. But, I feel like I should be able to hit those pitches and stay on top and stay through them and, barrel them up more often. But, it was just a good swing right there.
It's been good pulling the ball in the air a couple times this week. Does that sort of tell you like the swing is just getting closer to where you kind of want it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like I said, I have had good swings. I just need to carry over to the next at-bat and the next at-bat and the next game rather than just kind of sporadically throughout. So I just had a few good at-bats and good swings. I just need to do a better job at carrying it over to the next one.
So Kyle Tucker now hitting 260 with a 116 weighted runs created plus the isolated power's going up. It's now at 143. You want to see that get closer to 200. Of course, that you subtract the slug and the batting average, a good raw indicator of raw power. 13 RBI so far. So a couple more games and he's putting up all-star numbers. Like the whole Kyle Tucker thing was the dumbest thing early on from fans. It made no sense. The whole Kyle Conforto thing, that was the most absurd thing that I've ever seen. It really, I mean, that's not who he is. This guy's an all-star bat. He's a top 10 to 15 bat, sometimes top 5. If he's on a heater, he's really, really that good. 5-tool, and tonight goes 3 for 5 at a home run, and like this. The production is going to be there. I still have all the confidence that in a lineup that has Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Will Smith and even Andy Pages and Teoscar Hernandez, that Kyle Tucker is going to end up being the second best bat on this team. And tonight proved me that again. All right, let's hear from Doc.
Just first, when you look at Emmett Sheehan tonight, I know we talked about him kind of working through a few mechanical things. It seemed like this one was a bit of a grind, but do you think it was more to the mechanical aspect of kind of getting things in line, or do you think it was more of just the elements of playing here in Denver?
I think it was more the elements. I think that I'm not sure how much he's pitched here. It just seemed like early on he didn't have good feel for anything, to be quite honest, and the ball strike ratio wasn't good, but I give him a lot of credit because he grinded, as you said, and made pitches when he needed to. And ironically, his best inning was the last. But I just felt, it was just a grind all night, and give Klein an opportunity to have a clean inning. But yeah, 5 innings, 2 runs, solid outing.
With Will Klein, what were you seeing from him? Because it seemed just kind of like honestly like a freak kind of accident thing to get him to then obviously get some guys on base to create some traffic?
I thought tonight his sweeper, the feel for spin wasn't good. He didn't have it, and I think a couple of those hits early were just cement mixers and just didn't do anything. And so, I don't know, again, if that's the elements, and I don't know how much he's pitched here, but yeah, tonight it just wasn't sharp.
Just sort of another example of how important it is to tack on runs, especially at a place like this.
It is, absolutely. I thought, we had some opportunities and couldn't, create some distance and kept them in the ball game. And so it really wasn't a huge inning. A 2-run inning was the difference in the game. And so we've been swinging the bats well. You're not always going to, put up cricket numbers every night, but I thought tonight we could have taken better at bats, but, you got to give those guys credit, and they went to their guys in the pen and kept us at bay.
Shohei reached 3 times, but only the last one counted, but he did get to that 50. What does that say about this guy? I mean, we said enough about him before, but just to get the 50 game on base.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I was hoping he'd get that last at bat and give him an opportunity to, change the game. And he found a way to get on base. It was good to see it, and that's quite the streak, and you got to be pretty dang good to do something like that, and he's in a class by himself.
The at-bats, particularly with runners in scoring position, were 0 for 7. Were those particularly disappointing?
Yeah, because I think that, up to this point, with runners in scoring position, we've been able to, whether it be earn a walk or swing at good pitches and get hits, and today it just seemed like we chased a lot more than we have. And so we had opportunities, and I thought Tuck swung the bat really well. I thought Freddie looked great up there, and we just couldn't get any other support.
So there was Dave Robertson. Yeah, he did talk about the Shohei Ohtani on base streak. So Shohei reached on an error by first baseman Johnson in the first inning. He also scored when Tucker hit that 2-run bomb. He also reached on the catcher's interference in the 8th, but he still needed to get a hit late to reach safely. So you got to get on via hit or a walk or hit by pitch. So he didn't technically reach base safely in those first 4 plate appearances on Saturday. So it was really good to see him get a single late to be able to capitalize on that. His 50 game on base streak is now tied with Wee Willie Keeler for the 3rd longest streak in Dodgers history. He already passed Ichiro Suzuki for the longest by a Japanese player. So, yeah, really cool stuff to see that. And I think the other thing, too, talk about Emmett Sheehan, and we'll hear from Sheehan here in a second. Yeah, I mean, look, his stuff wasn't that crispy. The feel wasn't great, but you didn't really see the twist on his mechanics. So I think from a mechanic standpoint, they look similar to what we saw last game, where when Sheehan's coming off the mound, for him to kind of get that east-west kind of spin, as it kind of looks like it kind of requires that to have his stuff play the way that it does. And tonight, it was a good mix of that. I don't think that it was the reason why he didn't go 6. But here was Emmett Sheehan after the game.
I mean, obviously, pitching here is a challenge no matter what. But when you look at your last outing, one of your best of the regular season, how did you find just trying to carry that over into this one? And did it feel like a grind based off of potentially mechanics, or just more of like the elements here in Denver and the altitude?
Yeah, I think last start we made a lot of progress on mechanical stuff, and then I think it was a little bit more of the same from the first couple this time. I'm definitely happy with some of the pitches I made later, but I got to be better earlier in the game.
Did you find it was kind of just easing into this one?
No, I think it was just, first at bat felt great, and then missed by a little bit on a couple, and then it kind of delivery went downhill a little bit, and then I thought I was able to find it a little better towards the end.
Was it just sort of the timing being back out of sync?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I got to look at it.
Was it the fastball in particular? Because the ball strike on that one wasn't great.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
There was Emmett Sheehan. So, yeah, he did find it towards the end. He said that, and I still think he's progressing. He really is. He hasn't been as good as Justin Robleski has, but I do think that you got to give him a lot of credit because he's out there battling, and he's not always with his best. I think he's still trying to figure out some mechanical consistency, and the stuff still's there. By the way, we got a super chat here from our friend, the queen of the Dodgers Dugout Live chat, Lola, $49.99. Wow, incredible. Appreciate that. It says, my percentage of liking Tucker is about 3.5%. Wow. Not a big fan of King Tuck. Okay. Husband is progressing in his battle with stage 4 cancer. Freddie is going to be a girl dad that is super special. Nice to see you, D-Mac. I wish I had more time. Let's keep winning. No sympathies, just an update. Lola, first of all, you're always in our thoughts, in our prayers, in your family, in your husband and everything that he's dealing with, and hey, we're here for you. We're absolutely here for you. If it's for 5 minutes, it's for 2 minutes. Everyone in the chat, show her some love, show her husband some love, because yeah, I mean, that's what makes the show what it is. Like I said, I'll always have the comments on the screen. I know that I'm the only show that does that throughout, so I mean, it's because I really pride myself in having this community where we can disagree, we can agree, we can go back and forth. I know sometimes we argue a little bit in the comments, and that's what I love about this show, is it really does have that real family atmosphere here, because you guys are in the dugout, man. We're in the dugout together. We're in that Dodgers dugout, and so thanks for stepping to the dugout with me, and Lola, really appreciate you, and yeah, we're thinking about you for sure. But all right, let's get to the positive though. Like probably the biggest positive tonight, Dalton Rushing staying absolutely scorching hot. I mean, he's off to a fantastic start and really limited at bats. He had a solo home run in the second inning. That gives him more home runs this year with 5 than he did in his first 19 plate appearances, than he had all year, 4 in 155 plate appearances. So Dalton Rushing has been incredible, and this is another example of some great homegrown talent. And it's very, very early. It's extremely early, but Will Smith, he's got a couple home runs. The Dodgers could have a couple catchers with 10 or more home runs, and you haven't had that since 1979 when you had Joe Ferguson who hit 20 bombs, 14 as a catcher, and Steve Yeager who hit 13. So Dalton Rushing, the confidence is certainly there. The swing, I'm going to actually drop an exclusive interview with him probably tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But the swing looks so much better, the confidence looks so much better, and you see that this is a dude that can do damage. And I feel like I'm not going to be I told you so victory lap guy, but did I not say, hey, I love Ben Rortvedt, no Ben Rortvedt slander, I think he's exactly what he is, and does a great job at that. But I always kept reminding you guys that do not sell your stock on Dalton Rushing, because he's on another level. This guy has the potential to be an all-star backstop with that kind of bat, and he's really proven me right. So here was Dalton Rushing from the Dodgers clubhouse in Coors in Colorado after today's loss.
Well, Dalton, let's just, I guess, kind of first go through the pitching side of this game. With Emmett, what were you seeing from him? It felt like today was a bit more of a grind than maybe, especially his last outing, in which he was quite efficient.
Yeah, first I want to say, like, I had my hats off to him. He fought. He showed how tough he is out there. He didn't have his best stuff. He knew that. He knew he was going to have to pivot a little bit, figure some things out. I'll give it to him, man. He grinded out there. But there's some things we can work on, the both of us, as far as like understanding a game plan, executing. But overall, I'm proud of the way he grinded. Obviously, I'm not proud of the result. We lost a baseball game. But at the same time, I think there was some good coming out of the grind from him.
How challenging is that when you maybe don't necessarily feel like you have your best stuff, but then you do have to pitch at altitude and trying to navigate, understanding just kind of how the shapes of your pitches are looking and feeling?
Yeah, it's tough. You say the altitude. I mean, regardless of altitude or not, when you don't have your best stuff, it's kind of like going up and down, up and down. You're confident one inning, you're not as confident the next. It's hard to pitch that way. But some of the better pitchers that you get to see and work with, they show you how they work through it. And like I said, I'm proud of the way he worked through it. By no means is that the expectation for him. I know that personally. I know he knows that himself. But I'm excited to get to work with him and see what we can do next week back home.
So there was Dalton Rushing, and yeah, he definitely gave a lot of credit to Emmett Sheehan, and rightfully so. I think that with Sheehan and all these young pitchers, it's really a testament to their ability to really show that they can not just get knocked off the mound. I think tomorrow we're going to see Roki Sasaki, and Roki Sasaki in Colorado. That definitely scares me, man. That really definitely scares me. I mean, it's a big test. Hopefully things go well. Hopefully he doesn't go 2 or 3 innings. Hopefully he goes 6 or 7. I mean, I really hope that he can figure things out. But that's kind of what I've really that's why I've really come to respect for guys like Emmett Sheehan and Justin Robleski and some of these younger guys, that you don't implode. And that's the number one key for these younger guys, because if you stay out there, you get to face more hitters. You get to work on things against big league hitters, and that is the only way you can progress. The ultimate currency for these guys is experience. You get better with every pitch, every inning, every start, and if you get rocked and you have to get pulled and you bring the bullpen, well, then one, you run the risk of having your opportunities go, and then 2, you just don't get to face enough hitters. But yeah, that is the game for tonight. A loss. I had the Dodgers taking 3 of 4 in this wraparound series, so let's take the next 2 and take 3 of 4 from the Colorado Rockies. All right, so let's go to you guys. Let me hear all your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue here in the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
Okay, we've got Roy Estrada. Rushing has embraced his role. The Dodgers will play him at first base as well. Don't bring up his size. He is taller than Muncy and same height as Bush. They both play first base. Yeah, I mean, he's a physical freak. He looks like he'd be a linebacker. He looks like he'd be drafted in next week's NFL draft. We've got Paul Aguirre. We got, all you guys, Delirium. Showing love. Lola says she loves Benny. Roy, D-Mac. Let folks know Rushing is not getting traded, not even for a scuba rental. Yeah, I mean, everything is fluid. I think the only way they would even consider doing something like that is if you had multiple frontline starters get injured. Guys like Yoshi or Glass. Now I don't want to put that into the world, but I think that's the only scenario we would consider getting desperate. But yeah, they're going to hold on to Rushing, and they're going to find a way to get him at bats if you can hit like this. Period. End of story. I mean, you hit for this team, they got to find a place for you, and they definitely will. We've got get well soon. Yeah, Ruben. Mookie Betts has not swung a bat yet, but he is looking better. He's feeling better, and from what I heard, they've kind of felt like, okay, this is kind of the best case scenario for him. Kike, expect him to be back on May 25th at home against the Rockies, so he can come back on the 24th, but the Dodgers will be in Milwaukee on Sunday for that one. So expect him back on the 25th. We got Robert says, hopefully the Dodgers get 5 of 7 games on the road trips. Absolutely. We've got Oliver, UCLA baseball team won again today. Bro, they're keeping it alive, the winning streak. I'm so upset that they lost to my friend Travis Rogers' UCSB Gauchos the other night. They lost 4-0 at Jackie Robinson Stadium. I was not feeling that, but that UCLA team has a chance to do something very special this year. You got Savage doing his thing as the skipper for the Bruins, and I mean, UCLA baseball just like runs this conference now. I mean, it's pretty incredible to see what they've been able to do. You got Koch, the super prospect, and then you got Roach. It's going to be really cool to see what he does at the next level too. But yeah, I feel that that buzz brewing, no pun intended. But Roach Cholowski, dude, is ridiculous. I actually went to my old stomping grounds over there yesterday. We got the kids are stepping up. Call is not a runner. I guess Dave should have known that before ordering a steal. That's from Ramshill 882. I disagree. I mean, you talk about the top of the 7th inning when Alex Call was on base after being hit by a pitch and he was picked off. He's just got to not get picked off there. But he is an above average runner. He is an above average runner, and he should be able to steal a base. If not, then that's not a good role for him. So I think that's what you got to consider as well. It's like those guys have to get opportunities in those roles. We've got Brianna. What's up, Brianna? How have you been? D-Mac watched Ferris pitch tonight. He needs a lot of work. Too many walks, ERA over 9. Yeah, Jackson Ferris, he's had some ups and downs. He has. And for sure. I mean, he does need to improve the command. I mean, at the minor league level, it's more process than results. So he could have been tinkering with something, but I agree. Like, this is a big year for Ferris because there's a world where he makes his debut this year if everything goes right and something's, quite frankly, go wrong. But it's past D-Mac's bedtime. All right, guys. So let's, why are you on so late? Oh, because, hey, man, there's a, Wawa says, go Gauchos. They're an Argentine cowboy. D-Mac, thoughts on Ward, and also are your thoughts on Tibbs? Watched him play tonight and against the Isotopes and look good. Yeah, Tibbs, he's someone that I would definitely expect to get some time at the big league level if they're going to call someone up due to an injury. His bat has really, really improved since joining the organization. They've simplified some things with him, and he's taken off. He's got a lot of potential. Ward, I'm not too particularly high on as far as a guy that I could see cracking this roster long term, but I do think that he, at least based on his production at the minor league level, deserves a shot to get 100 to 200 plate appearances at least with a team to see if that production can translate from AAA to the show. But he's a great dude, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for him for sure. We've seen special things in Colorado too if he does get in the lineup. We saw what James Alvin did a couple years ago, hitting that bomb in his first at-bat. But all right, guys, we are running out of time, so let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
All right, today for the walk-off, I thought this was a really cool moment that I saw on Twitter. And if you see here, this is Shohei Ohtani meeting a 100-year-old atomic bomb survivor, Momoyo Kelly. Momoyo Kelly is 100 years old. She was there. You see Steven Nelson in the background, by the way. And a cool moment. Shohei Ohtani recognizing it, going up to her, giving her an autograph. And, this is just a special moment. I mean, a 100-year-old person at a baseball game in general is already impressive. And if I'm 100 at a baseball game, I think that I will have felt really great about the longevity of my life, right? So, but for it to represent that and be another reminder of everything is something I thought was really cool. And Shohei is just a great guy, and we've seen this couple. Like, he literally is a great guy. Like, I can tell you this. I've seen him do things when there's no cameras around for people that let me know that his character is extremely high. We saw him a couple weeks ago in the rain, sign the autograph for the kid and give him the ball. We saw this most recent example. He doesn't know this is on TV. He knows this is being filmed. He didn't know this is going to go viral. But everything the guy does is. And it's another example of the kind of character, the kind of person that Shohei Ohtani is. So really cool stuff. And, hopefully we'll get our Dodger game pretty soon or something. I mean, great to see. But that's it for this Saturday night episode. You guys know, hey, no days off. Dodger baseball, 24/7, 365, baby. But that's going to do it. See you guys tomorrow. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Drop a like. Drop a comment down below. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.